in a minute or two, I'll just start to share my screen. Awesome. So, just to give you a little bit of background of what we're doing and what I'll be going through today. Before I start to share my screen and share the map with you. So on the 20th of December, we will be going live, and the NHVR will be going live with the National Network Map, which is an amalgamation of maps that are currently held at jurisdictional levels. So in each of the jurisdictional websites, the RAVNet or Globe or Transport for New South Wales road sites or ACT roads, Vic roads, there are maps included in each of those websites. And instead, what we will have from each of those websites is a redirect to our national map, which I'll share with you today. What that has required, that's been many months of work where we have been bringing across all of the data that's included within those maps. So we are the master of the data in Victoria, South Australia, and ACT. And then over in the next month and a half, 2 months, we'll be bringing finalising Queensland. So in Queensland, the maps that are brought across are the are gazetted maps only, and then in New South Wales, although we're not currently the master of the data, we'll be completing that work in the first quarter of next year. But from an operator's perspective, it will look and feel like they won't notice the difference of whether or not we're the master or not, and I can demonstrate that for you today. It's literally just the point where who owns the data and who has the redirect of information. So at the moment, we're mastering Victoria, South Australia, and ACT, and Queensland, New South Wales will be in the coming months. So I'll share my screen now. What we want to do is just demonstrate the maps to you. And then very much have this as an open session for questions and answers. If there's anything in particular that you want me to show you, I'm happy to do so. I'm just going to share my screen, so you should be able to see just a blank Google page at the moment. And so when we type in the URL of the map itself, it is possible to look at this either as a logged in user or as just as a normal URL. So I'm currently I am logged in, but we will come to that first splash screen. And this is very similar to what happens. Sorry. This is very similar to what happens on each of the jurisdictional websites. So there are terms and conditions obviously associated with using maps, and you'll see here that there are that we've sort of amalgamated information from each of those areas. And obviously, as road managers, when you have requested or made changes to any networks that have then been included via the jurisdictions, those would be reflected here. So I'm just going to accept the terms and conditions, and upon doing that, we come to the main landing page for the national network map. Within that, you'll see in the same way as what we would have, we want to make sure that as much as possible, all the tools that we're releasing to you and to our jurisdictional road managers have the same sort of look and feel. So earlier this year, I've spoken to many of you with released the road management tools, and you'll see very similar things within the national map, and also the network management tools that we'll release to you in the coming months. So in the top right-hand corner, there will always be a search function, so you can search for a particular street name or street name suburb. We've moved layers which were originally up here. It's just from a real estate perspective. We've moved this down to this corner because with the national map, there are many potential layers that we can apply. So just so that we are able to see that information easier, that's been moved down to the bottom right-hand corner. And then on the main front page, you'll see a banner, search banner on this side, which includes a number of different icons, and I'll go through what each of these are in this particular session. So The first one, looking at this burger menu at the top, it opens up the ways that you can find particular networks. So here we have the default is looking at the networks themselves. So in a very similar way to how users will come in at the moment and look at maps in each of the jurisdictional websites, these have been grouped in the same way. So ACT has 7, New South Wales, they're grouped according to particular category types. Similarly, Queensland, South Australia are GML, then HML, then awesome routes, etc. So this is one way of finding them, is via the network and the network name. The other method that we've received quite a lot of feedback about is around vehicle categories. So in this, we have over 1,000 different vehicle categories. And behind this is a mapping table that links each of these vehicle categories with the networks that are associated with it. So, for example, if I was to click into B double network here and then the B double subcategory, you'll see let me just take off the filter that I had applied earlier. Sorry. You'll see all of the different B double different versions of the B double network according to categorization of vehicle type. So here, for example, in New South Wales only, there's a 19-meter network. The 23 and 26 meter are much more national, so they don't have any of these little this little depiction underneath to show it relates to only one state. In Queensland, in comparison to South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, and ACT, there is a no quad axle group limitation on their 23 double B 23 meter B double network. And so that's not now included in the national network. But if I click on this one here, for example, the B double up to 26 meters in length, it will bring up all of the networks that are associated with that particular classification. So you'll see here on the left-hand side that it includes ACT, it includes New South Wales, includes the network from Victoria, and includes the South Australian network. And because this is GML in South Australia, that's further classified into a number of different commodity networks too, which you could choose to view instead of the overall 26-meter B double. So this kind of shows, I guess, the main benefit of the map is that it is truly across all the multiple states. So if I just zoom in, for example, into this area up here, which on the border of New South Wales and South Australia, you'll note that on the B double on this the A32, for example, here has full access, which is denoted by that green line. There's a small section here in between the town, Silvertown, and the border, which is conditional, and we can see that because there are there's conditional aspects around Broken Hill. We can see that because they're at this amber color, and then as it rolls into South Australia, the network continues and is available for full access in South Australia as well. So I'm going to scroll out a little bit and show you a few things on the map before I go into a bit more detail about how to see those conditions and restrictions. But we have brought the maps across on a like-by-like basis at this precise time. So what that means is, however the maps are represented in the original jurisdictional website is how they will look here. So in South Australia, you'll notice that there are all of the lines within the B double 26-meter network are green. And there's lots of little red dots. So in South Australia, the RAVNet system doesn't work on a segment by segment basis. Instead, it is on it shows all of the roads that are included, and then any conditions or restrictions are included via these points only. Whereas in New South Wales, Victoria, ACT, and up in Queensland, we have a traffic light system. So conditions and restrictions are denoted by these amber and red colours. And one of the things that we're very much looking to do is work with each of the jurisdictions to streamline that over the next short while, so that we would anticipate we would start to see South Australia moving towards the rest of the other states, and that would be something we'd certainly be looking to discuss with them, so that actually instead of having these red dots which would include the condition or restriction information, would be able to have that actually on the roads, the road segments themselves. So I'm going to zoom in at this area in Mildura in a second, but before I do, I just want to cover off the last few things that are in this side panel. So I mentioned that it will outline where each of the networks are, or which networks are included within this overall national network. So these 4 particular states are included. We've also wanted to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible for both yourselves and operators or industry to find the gazettes and operators guides that relate to that particular network. So we've included those within each of those the side panel here, as well as a reference of when the current expiration date is of this notice. And so these are just links to the documents, and they can be clicked into, and it brings up the document that relates to that particular notice. So once we've kind of viewed this left-hand column, we're conscious that actually a lot of the time we want to make sure that we can see as much of the map as possible. So it is possible to collapse this side panel just by clicking on these that little icon there, or expand it back out again if you want to view, I guess, be able to see the information again in that left-hand column. And then when I scroll in and start to see some of the benefits of the map, are that, we do have those conditions and restrictions very much able to be viewed by operators, by yourself, as they're actually looking at the map. So in the same way as we have with the road management tools that many of you will already use, the tools themselves stay grayed out until you're at a point where the zoom level is appropriate for selecting particular roads. So I'm just going to give this sorry. Sorry. As you're zooming in, you're able to select particular roads to see the conditions or restrictions that apply to that. So these have just illuminated there. And when we do that, we can click around and look at particular roads and the conditions and the restrictions that apply. So I'm just going to choose an area. This one here looks good, where there's also restrictions and conditions in one particular area. So if I click on this small section around the start highway, it was able to bring up on that segment. We've had a condition applied by Mildura City Council, which is that we can only access this road for a 26-metre B double in dry weather. Similarly, on this small section of road beside that, based upon the particular road, and this comes from Mildura City Council themselves, this road is just restricted for this type of vehicle. So it is not included on this network at all. So we're able to see at that low level what those conditions or restrictions might be for a particular road. And then we are also really we were also very conscious that we're building this national map for a number of different stakeholders in terms of use. So one of the things that we've had fed back from both from road managers, but also very much from industry, is that often you might want to share amongst your colleagues particular elements of the map and be able to see specific sections. So one of the things that we've had highlighted is that if you're looking at something in particular, you want your colleague to be able to look at that exact same view. So we've built in the ability to share exactly what you're seeing on your screen at any particular time. So for example, if I share this current view, I can do that by clicking on this little icon here in the top right hand corner. And that will copy, it will have created a completely unique URL based upon the network that I was in, my current view level, and my current zoom level, sorry, and whether or not I had any other layers applied. And so when I copy that URL if I send that to a colleague, for example, they are then able to paste that into their viewer, and after accepting terms and conditions, they will get exactly the same view as what you were currently looking at. So this will just render in the same view as it was over the in the original screen. The other thing that we could do with this share view, with this share view, is we can apply particular layers to that, and then those would also be included. So I mentioned at the beginning the layers tab down the bottom here. It opens, and there's a number of different potential layers. So we have certain things always turned on, but they can be obviously toggled off. So the point access are largely relating to these points in South Australia. So approved or restricted, I can turn any of these on and off. Or I could, and then the area access relate to these green and the green and yellow areas in that are used for New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia use them for commodities, where a whole section of roads are covered by an area and one condition or restriction is associated with that. And again, that's very much what's included in the original jurisdictional maps. So those can be toggled on and off if you wish, or alternatively, we can toggle on and off the approved or approved with conditions. So the red, amber, green for that is used across Queensland, New South Wales, etc. We can also toggle on off the boundary layers that you would have been very used to seeing in the road management tools. And then things that might be quite interesting are the disruptions or points of interest. So if I come to those and look at some of those, for example, if I look at flooding, that will bring up a whole number of points within Victoria. Or if I was looking at emergency, it brings up a number in South Australia. Roadworks obviously will bring up across the board. Now these are third-party bits of information that we're pulling in. It's not information that we personally own, but we are. They're all part of open data from other government agencies, and so we want to obviously include those within the maps wherever that is, wherever that's possible. And we're doing quite a lot of work just now, and we'll continue to do so around the iconography. So what for fire, for example, there'll be a little flame, and for floods, looks like water. And so those will start to, instead of seeing these blue lines and the little blue dots, you'll see those icons within the map itself. So if I was to leave these layers on and save this view, for example, or copy this view again, I can send that to a colleague, and they would be able to see literally everything that I had on my screen. So including those particular icons, those particular layers would be signed on, included as well. So it's just rendering, and then those will come up. And so what I also wanted to make reference to were these was the little icon here, which is where we can save a particular view. So we're very conscious that quite often you might be looking at very similar networks quite frequently. If there's networks that are more that you either need to change more regularly, or you're more need to see more regularly, we can actually save the view. And when we do that, if we save the view again, it will store all of the information that's included within the current view. So it will store your zoom level, it will store any particular layers that you have associated, so that we're looking to try and minimize as much as possible the number of clicks that you have to go through to see a very similar network time and time again. And you can save up to 200 views within at any one time. So if I save this one as just Road Manager webinar and save that, you'll see in a second on the home screen how you can find that again. And then If you wanted to use something but you didn't want to save particular layers, you can favorite a particular network too. So I could favorite this one. It was currently added to my favorites already. I did this in a webinar earlier, but I could take that off, and then it's been unfavorited. You'll see as a little description on the bottom of the page. So I'll just add that again to my favorites, and it just again means that I would be able to see this information easier without having to go through all of the steps of adding particular layers, etc. on. And so once I've clicked out of that, you'll see in this is back to that main, the first screen. And those similar icons are now here on the left-hand side. So our saved view this is the one that I just did. So the Road Manager webinar, and by clicking onto it, you'll see it's taking me exactly back to that zoom level. The map will render, and those layers have stayed on. If I looked at one that I did earlier, for example, which is this one, which was zoomed into Mildura, the layers were not on for this one. So once I've clicked onto this, you'll notice those two layers have come off that I clicked on, and it takes me back to that area in Mildura that I was showing you earlier with the conditions and restrictions. And then favorite, this is these instead of these just bring up the kind of vanilla version of this network, so it doesn't take into account the zoom level, which is the difference between favoriting and saving the view. So this brings up just that very first level. It doesn't bring up any of the layers either, but it might be something that you want to use as your starting point. And again, we're looking for feedback on all of these things. So if you find you never use favorite, but you always use saved, then it'd be great to know that feedback, and we can look at moving this potentially over here, or that type of thing. The last thing that I wanted to show you before I open up for questions in terms of the map itself is we're very conscious that we want to share as much information as possible in terms of network update requests or network updates that are made. So the back end of this map is network management tools, which are very have a very similar look and feel to the road management tools that many of you already use. We are rolling those out in the new year to each of the they're already out within the jurisdictions, and we'll be rolling those out to road managers in each of the states. So all of you guys, and what happens with those is, instead of completing PDFs, which is what the process is at the moment, you complete a PDF, it goes to your jurisdiction, or it goes to our access policy team, and then eventually it's applied to the map after approval. The process will be that it's all managed through tools within the system itself. So if you're adding access, that will there's a workflow mechanism within that will take you through immediately to our access policy team to approve any proposed changes, and once those are approved, they'll automatically be applied to the map. If the particular change that you're suggesting, if you had, for example, a bridge that had a structural assessment and that it was less capable of carrying a load than it had been previously, so you wanted to put a bigger condition or restrict it entirely, those would be subject to the 28 days that's required by the HVNL, and the system again manages that completely. So once those 28 days have been completed, then the updates would be automatically applied to the map. So we wanted to make sure that you could find all updates that had been proposed, and so we have put those within the national map itself, within this little icon here, which shows all of the network updates that have been applied to the map. Now, at the moment, this is very vanilla. It's very, it just shows every single update, shows for every single road manager across all of the states, and we are keen to get feedback on what sort of differential you would like within this. So would you like it to be state specific? Would you like it to be vehicle specific? Would you like it to be all of the above, or is actually a total view very useful? And what's included within this table is also what will be included within our subscription with any operators or yourself, if you subscribe to find out about update requests, anything that comes into this table will then be included within that subscription email. Now, again, feedback on that around, you know, it'd be good to get a bit more of a, you know, we may only want to see things that have happened within our state, or we may want to see something that's happened for a particular access instrument or that type of thing. If you feed that back to us, we can start to look at changing those the subscription services accordingly, so we're targeting more what you'd be looking to hear about. But at the moment, as I say, it's very it kind of is taken on an all-inclusive approach. So all potential update requests are included within this table here, and you can look at any of these and see what the update request was. We can see which instrument it related to, when it was applied, and then if you click on here, you actually can see the public notice of amendment itself. And what the purpose of that necessarily was. So we want to make sure that you have that information, but again, we're comfortable with making any changes to target that as necessary. So from a map perspective, that's largely what I wanted to go through. So a variety of different ways you can find maps, a variety of different filters that you can use. I'll just quickly run through the filters actually. So if I click again on this B double, if you see here, the 19 meter, for example, will disappear when I start to click through these particular filters. If I want to reduce it just to be vehicles that are between 27.5 and 33 meters, or I want to reduce the particular height, obviously I've taken it to a point where it's not, there's nothing is within those particular parameters. Or if I just wanted to see commodity or livestock freight types, or if I only wanted to see ones that are relating to a particular network, now a particular state, these will obviously also include any that are national. So if I click just South Australia, it would still bring up these the first two B doubles, because those are across multiple states, but it also highlights just the networks that are South Australian specific. I can either toggle these off myself, on and off myself, or I could reset each of them, and then that just brings it back to the sort of very initial stages where no filters are applied. So in a nutshell, that is the map. That's what we're releasing on the 20th of December. I wanted to now open the floor if there are any questions on what I've shown you today. If you wanted to talk a bit more about timescales of releasing the network management tools, yeah, I'm open to questions.
Hi, this is Walter Galvin from Wollongong City Council.
Hi.
Hi, I'm not sure if this may be part of the upcoming network management tools you spoke of, but we seem to get quite regularly requests that are not part of our road network and are private roads or part of other networks. Is there a view of which networks relate to the different road managers that we can sort of check? Is there a layer on here or on another map that we can check out and update?
So within the maps themselves, so I guess the tools that we are releasing to kind of facilitate this, there's two different sets of tools. So the first of those are road manager tools, which is very much where we would manage who owns the particular road. And so yes, within that view, for example, if I can let me just open one for you. Not that one. This one. Okay, so I'm going to just log into my portal view as an example. Now, under our road management, under road management, we can actually make changes to particular sections of roads. So, for example, if I was somewhere, let's say I'm around the Port Augusta area in South Australia, if I signed on as Port Augusta, I could make changes to any of the roads that are included in here, or I could make reference to the fact that the road doesn't belong to me, that it actually belongs to Flinders Regional Council, for example, or Flinders Ranges Council. And so the ability to change roads and look at road ownership are within the road management tools, which are held within the portal under our road management. But then within that, if a road is listed as belonging to you, then you can make any changes on the networks, which are going to be part of the network management tools. And so yes, at that point you could apply conditions like restrictions, or put any or just approve access. Within the national network map, if there are roads, if you've had a request to change a road or take a road off a network and it's not yours, it would be the tools here that you would use to do that. Now, if it's a private road, we would make those changes within the road management tools themselves. So we can, like, I know these little pink ones, for example, are currently unmanaged. If I clicked on any of these, I could make changes to those roads and make them if this is a driveway, for example, I could make that as a private road, and then you wouldn't be asked for access for that, and you wouldn't be able to include that within a network. So the three kind of tools work very much together. They're working on the same data set, and we would anticipate you would use the road management tools to make the changes in road ownership. You would use the network management tools to update the networks according to particular access, and then it would be viewed on the national map itself. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. I guess on that road manager mapping that you were showing, I just haven't been sure how to see our roads as a specific layer without having to sort of click in each individual road and see who's listed as the manager.
Yeah, so what we have, I guess, to make that so which
Wollongong City Council in New South Wales.
New South Wales. So
just,
New South Wales, yeah, we are releasing these tools to we did start just at the end of October, kind of starting with road managers in New South Wales. And so let me just find Wollongong.
Just south of Sydney there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, here we go. So what we would anticipate with this is, if I turn on your the overall state boundaries, so what you can see is there's a number of purple roads. So those are our state-owned roads within your area of responsibility, and then there's lots of these white roads, which are generally owned by Wollongong. What we have also called out right now is the pink roads, which are roads that don't currently have a manager, and we are adding another layer, which will be roads within your area of responsibility that are not owned by you. So it could be that there was a private, or it could be that there's roads that might be on a boundary are owned by your neighbor. So like this little one here, for example, might be owned by your neighbor, rather than you own that tiny little segment of that road, given that the vast majority of it is your neighbouring council. So we should you would be able to, I guess, identify in a more easy way than clicking in each individual road that it's owned by yourself.
Great. Yeah, I think once that private layer's on there, then we can do a check of the whole area and let you guys know if there's anomalies that need to be sorted out. Yep. Great.
And the intention is very much with all of these tools is that they are self-service, because we do know that roads change. Obviously, you might have an area of construction where a whole new road is created or a road is removed. So very much
can do that ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So the intention is that you who know your roads would be able to make those changes yourselves to them.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions at all around either the map or the other tools that I spoke around? No, that's okay. I mean, if so what we're looking at, what I want to just reiterate is that this is going live on the 20th, but we're not anticipating this, one and done. We do we have a number of other bits of functionality that we're looking to build in. So one of the key ones of those, for example, is that all of the information that's currently in our network maps that will all be sucked into the next generation route planner, which industry currently uses to apply for permits. All of the data from the road management tools is already within that as well. So that next generation route planner is a lot more robust than it has been in the past in terms of the data that is included within it. The intention, though, is to basically amalgamate that with the national map. So we would be looking to bring together the information that's included within the national map with the information from the next generation, and actually make this routable, and that will be happening in the new year, and indeed not just routable, but the overall intention is to make it intelligently routable. So if an individual or if a user operator puts in 10 different waypoints, then we would be looking to try and snap them to networks that would be suitable for their particular vehicle type. So that will all be coming in the new year. I see a couple of questions have come up in the chat. Can the mapping show load limits for bridges or culverts in their locations? Yeah, absolutely. So what within the map itself, if I just for ease, I'm just going to go back into the B double 26 meter, but within the map itself, what you will see is those, for example, those road limits are could either be a condition or restriction for a bridge. So a good example that I was looking at earlier was the Bolty Bridge in the middle of Melbourne, which has a 68.5 ton limit on it, and so it would show that as a conditional as a condition for particular vehicle types, and you'll see that by the little red marks. It's just as I scroll in, it becomes a bit more easy to see. So for the 26 meter, this is the Bolty Bridge, just comes up here in the Docklands. It is completely approved, but if we got to some of the larger road trains or the PBS vehicles, that becomes conditional or restricted. Similarly here around the Graham Street. These are restricted, but they are restricted to a 44-ton limit, and it takes that onto the particular city link. So yes, it would show that. We are also adding that word annoys me, iconography. Can't say it very well, to show that this is a bridge here, for example. So you'll see a bridge structure icon will start to be represented on the bridge itself. And similarly with culverts. And then if there's a tunnel, for example, with a height restriction, in the same way as there are with many of your jurisdictional maps, that will have that diamond shape with different colouring depending upon the height of the restriction, and the actual height is listed within the icon itself. So if there is that requirement. What is the best contact on issues on the map or road management? Yeah, absolutely. So the best place to contact is either sending it to our info line, so info@nhvr.gov.au, which I will just include in the chat, and will be on all of your all of the communications that have come out recently. But also if you want to get, so what happens with that is that goes to our main contact center, they'll forward it on to us, or alternatively you can send them directly to our mailbox, which is spatial@nhvr.gov.au, and so you'll be able to send information to either party if you're having any concerns. Also locations for one-trip permits for SPV vehicles. So this is the network view, so it wouldn't necessarily be for from a permit perspective. Those will still stay within the portal itself. So if you're asked if an operator is looking for a particular permit for a vehicle, they would still go to the next generation route planner, but what it will do is suck in all the information from the maps that we have here. So if I just click out of all of these, and come to SPVs. So, there are SPV networks that apply. So if there's a particular type of special purpose vehicle that you're looking for, the networks would all be listed here. And then if it's not within a network and it needs to be something that's included within a permit, you would the user would go to the next generation route planner to put in the waypoints, and the SPV networks would be able to be shown on that as well. So it would only obviously be like kind of first and last kilometre or anything that's not included within the network. So that was Robert's question. Hopefully that answered that for you, Robert. If it didn't, please let me know. And I think Hamal and Robert earlier, yeah, if there was any other, if I haven't answered, let me know. Excellent. So unless there's any other questions, that's largely what I wanted to cover off with you today. This won't be the only time that you see a lot of this information. What we will be looking to do anytime that you the first time that you log on, Vince, I have seen your hand up, so I'll come to you in a second. But when you first log on, you will receive a kind of product tour. We have videos that are short versions of just to remind you where to find all of this information, and that will be the first time that you log on also there, and also on your the Road Manager hub, that information, the video will be kept as well. So there'll be a few different places to come and find this this information. But Vince, did you have a question?
Oh, hello, Joanna. Yeah, Vince from Balranald Shire Council. Haven't got a question as such. I just need help since I found a problem with one of our roads in the Shire.
Okay.
I did see your last previous session where we can change the roads, but because haven't done any, I have forgotten.
Okay, that's fine.
So in the Balranald Shire Council, there's a road where Wentworth Council shows that they own the road, or it's their section when it's not. It's in Balranald.
Yeah.
If you can help me change that, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
In road management, please.
Yep, I'm happy to do that, definitely. I'm happy for anyone else if you want to stick around and get a refresher on how to change roads in road management. But I'm also conscious that not to take up anyone else's time, so I'm happy to go through this with Vince. We will continue the recording. So, but if there aren't any other questions other than that, feel free to jump off the call. But Vince, I will go through that with you here. So I'm just checking my data. Your council was, sorry, you said
Balranald
yeah.
Shire Council.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually on the website, but yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. Awesome. So within that, so Balranald Shire Council, and it's an area with yourself and your and within
neighbouring council.
Okay, awesome. And is there a particular road name that you
Yes.
Yeah?
The road's called Arumpo Road.
ARU?
ARUMPO.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah, so it's currently, and it's showing as Wentworth. Is that what you said? That it looks like it's right on the border. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Well, it goes through our council.
Okay.
And crosses our boundary twice. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is it here. Arumpo.
That's correct.
It is.
Yep.
And so up. Yep. And where you come in, let me just find the council boundary. No, Wentworth. Yep. And you go up to the top, I assume. Where's yours?
Oh, no. Yeah, nope. Towards the right a bit more.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just clicking back on. I've just gone out of view completely. Here. No, that's not you either. Sorry.
Right, yeah, you going too fast.
Yes, I have. It's my zoom level on my mouse is causing me lots of lots of issues. I think I need to change the batteries of them. But let me go back into Romper Road.
Scroll down, sorry, head down.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh, yes. Okay. We're going down towards...
Oh, it's stop there.
Yes. Here.
And head towards the right.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep.
Okay, so a Romper Road is here.
Yep, follow that.
Yes, and then I'm just trying to find your boundary.
Yeah, it's up north more, and so if you follow up, follow the Romper Road
all the way up.
That's it. Yep, about to get close.
Oh, it's a very long road. Okay,
Here
so
we go.
this is your boundary. Awesome.
That's
Excellent.
it.
Got there
Right.
eventually. Okay,
That's
so if
the
I
area.
click on that, yes, you're very right. What happens is it's across the boundary. It has Wentworth Shire Council as owning this entire segment. Now, I definitely can assist you with this, but actually what you can see by this one, the fact that it is only one segment, that basically means that in the base data layer, it is only one segment. So what we have to do is actually split this on that segment within the base data, and it's something. It takes about an hour and a half for that split to come across. So what I might do is so the vast majority of changes, if this was a separate segment, we could just make the change just now. For example, I could just update this and make it you, but that would mean that you would also own all of this segment that's outside of your boundary layer. So
correct, that's what I've been doing, yeah.
Yes, so I don't necessarily want to make that change, but we could if we did. It's just as simple as literally putting update, changing it to yourself and saving and closing. And what happens is at that point, Wentworth receive an email to say to you, are you happy that with Balranald taking this segment? And should they be happy with that and they agree, then it changes over to be owned by you. But I think it's probably more accurate that we actually make that split on the boundary so that Wentworth would own this section and you would own the top, the more north section. Would that be right?
That's correct.
Okay, now, and then as it carries on through, I think it will be your neighbour on the north side that would own. It would carry owning it. So what I might do then with this, Vince, is I'll make that change in the base information, and then I'm happy if we have like a 10-minute chat after that change has come through, and then I can show you how to actually update your ownership so that you've got the correct owner for just that segment after the change from OpenStreetMap, our base data layer, has been replicated in the map itself. Would that be okay for you?
That'll be fine, thank you. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so
because if you zoom in to the intersection where there's at the top, top down, in there. Yeah. That in between two roads, between Euston Prungle and Mama Box Creek, it does say we own that. This bit here, yes, here you do. But this top bit again goes to Wentworth. So I think what I'll actually do potentially is make two changes. So I'll split here and I'll split on that bottom bottom section as well. So and then when I call you, we can go through making the change so that you've got this segment here and this segment here belong to you and everything else belongs to Wentworth. Thank you very much. Awesome. Fantastic. Good. I'll make those changes just now, and I'll arrange a session with you either later this afternoon or tomorrow to make those changes. Yeah, awesome. That'd be great. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much. Unless there's any other questions for anyone else who remained on the call, I'll stop the recording now, and we can go through. If you do have any other questions, though, I put our email addresses in the chat. Is the recording available to you? Yes, it's going to be put onto the Road Manager's web hub, which is on our website, the NHVR website. So there's a hub there with a lot of different information available to different road managers. So certainly it will be included within that. Thank you all for your time today.